Welcome to Down South Football Podcast. We're coming from y'all today with our new segment. Our new segment is going to be called Down South Football Shorts. This is where we're going to come with you guys for a brief minute about the topics that's going on in the college football world today. With so much going on, we felt like it was just a better way for us to communicate with you guys and come to y'all and just let us know and let you know what's really going on right now. Of course, you got your boy, that's me, Renard Williams. I got, of course, Mr. Chauncey Tuck in the building, Mr. David Gardner, and Mr. at I am DJ Double Dose, aka Ben Dennis. So we're gonna start this off just a little bit. What we got going on today, we want to talk about the first topic we want to talk about is the Virginia Tech DB Caleb Farley, who has opted to sit out the season and enter the 2021 NFL draft. It didn't really catch us off. It didn't really catch me from surprise because of the fact of what you've been seeing with the NFL. And if you're a young guy and you got everything going on, you want to protect yourself. So let's spread around the room for a minute and see what your initial thought was. Dave, how did you feel about the situation?
I think it's just first wave. I mean, not even wave, but I think it's first of many. Honestly, first round pick, projected to be first round pick. Don't want to put it on the line. Your NFL draft stock is not going to change. You're still in school, still going to graduate if that's what you graduate early if you're on their pace for that. But I don't know. For the fans, of course, it could kind of we just don't know. I mean, how I feel about it, I don't mind because right now, that particular team is not a team that I follow like that, so it hadn't hit home. But just from an analyst review perspective, it's gonna be interesting, man. Just like the rest of this year, it's gonna be strange. Like we said a couple shows ago, what you know about college football, you can just kind of throw it out the window because it's gonna be different.
We are definitely in a different space. That's for sure. So what about you, Tuck? What was your feeling about what happened with the guy, with Mr. Farley?
Mr. Farley, to me personally, I think he jumped the gun a little bit too quick because I don't think it's gonna be football. So I mean, yeah, go right ahead. I'm serious, guys.
Right? Yeah, you've been on it.
It's changing every day. So as of right now, I mean, I think he jumped the gun on it. I mean, to me, from a publicity standpoint, I think he did a good job as far as getting it out there. Like, hey, I'm not finna play football. You being a first round pick, I think it is a smart thing to do, due to the fact that hey, you can go off of what I did these past 3 years or 2 years, and hey, you can figure it out. Like, hey, this is what I've done. I really ain't got to prove myself to nobody. I can just focus for a whole year on training for the NFL. Like I said, dude, me personally, when he first did it, I went back to look at a couple of his tapes. I don't think he's first round, but second round, yes, most definitely. But first round, I don't know. It's a push. But I think he did the right thing as far as saying, hey, I want to focus on the NFL because don't get it wrong. I think that's we all know that's the ultimate goal is to get to the NFL. He graduated early, I think, already. Got his degree. I mean, is there anything else? We all know Virginia Tech wasn't going to win the national championship. No. So if he wants to do anything personally, like win the Thorpe Award, maybe or something like that, but I really didn't see him as. That's why I'm saying I see like maybe 4 or 5 DBs ahead of him as far as talent wise. But I think he did do a good job. All I want to say is at the press conference, quote unquote press conference, I want to know why they was wearing masks if they're in the house. I just didn't get that. But maybe it's something we don't know.
You know how it goes.
We don't know. It's just like somebody trying to kidnap him, and he was just asking for help. That's all. That's what I saw. But I'm sorry, but I'm going off all base. But yeah, I think it was a good thing. I wish more luck to the brother. And like Dave said, I really think it's going to be more people end up doing it, doing the same thing he did.
Well, I will say this about his grade. I mean, it don't take much. I mean, we seen people come out of nowhere and be first round picks. So if they thinking that highly of you, we'll just kind of see how it goes and see what happens. So Ben, what was your thought, sir?
I was actually a little surprised because
I know we're going to get more people that's going to do this, but that's why I guess I was always on the train about when they were saying they wanted to do it in the spring, because I knew that in the spring, you was going to get a lot of guys that was going to be like, look, I'm not doing this. Draft is in April. I'm not going to deal with you from January to March or whatever they was going to try to work out. So seeing him do it kind of early, I think it more so plays into safety, of course, but I think it also plays into, like what Tuck said, it's just like, look, we ain't finna do nothing. I might as well just go ahead and not deal with all of these politics of what's going on. Go ahead and say what I'm finna do off the top, get it out the way. They give me time to finish up my grades, go ahead and train and keep it going. But I hope this doesn't become a trend with more and more guys doing this. But where we are right now, unfortunately, is we're going to start seeing it a lot more.
I think you're looking at a possible trend. We was talking about it amongst each other a couple of days ago, and I was looking at it, just watching what you see people that's making millions of dollars. You got Dante Hightower, who's giving up basically $8 million to bring home $150,000. But hey, he got family issues. He got a new baby. You got to think long term. But I think it is a start of an actual trend. But who knows, man? But just like the NBA had to change their draft date, because now their draft date is what, in October?
October now, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like Tuck said, we might not have an NFL season. We might not have a season period. We don't know how, or we might start and it might
not
blow up. But you got to do what you got to do, because you're looking at like NBA, you got like Isaac Okoro and all these other prospects who's sitting out there, and they was thinking about October, I'm gonna be playing somewhere.
Right.
So,
and to that point, we also brought up, what's going on with the Miami Marlins. 17 people contracted the disease, and this is supposed to be, we know Miami or in the state of Florida is a hot spot,
a hotbed, right?
We're looking at the same time, we're looking at these guys getting a professional team, getting contract with the coronavirus, and you're gonna want them to travel to another city to play. And then the thing is, I think me personally, I think the NBA had the best model as far as having a bubble. But you can't do that with college football. You can't do that. You can't do that really for the NFL. The reason, and then college football, the reason why they did it, the reason why NBA did it, and it's going to work out being successful, is because they still play half a season, and they took out some of the teams that was
3/4 of a season,
right? You know what I'm saying? That was not going to make the playoffs. So that made it a whole lot easier to do this, and they put strict guidelines in. Even Mo Williams, he won not Mo Williams. Lou Williams wanted to go get from Manchester City Cafe. Don't get me wrong, now that the food is delicious. But
the food is the bomb now.
It is the bomb. So you can't do the same thing that the NBA did. It's no way possible that you could be able to do that. So, right. That's why to this day, right now, I still don't think we're gonna have a season, because the SEC is gonna meet tomorrow. I think.
They're
gonna meet tomorrow.
They're meeting virtually tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to see what they're gonna say. Because kids are not coming back to class right now, as far as I know. Well, I know at Auburn they're not going to school right now.
No, it brings up a lot of different issues. That's why I feel like what we're talking about right now, with like you talk about the NBA and the bubble and this and that and this, everything is fluid. And when I talk to people, when people talk to me, I tell them, look, bro, everything you know about football, everything you know about sports in general, just throw it out the window, because what's the deal on Monday can be something a totally different deal on Friday. That's why we have to just look at what we got and just try to move forward, because the NBA is already talking about possibly doing the bubble again next year. So it's like we don't know what's going to happen with that, because they talk about taking a month and a half break and start a whole new regular season.
Right, and then to get back on track, they're going to have to do that. Like we were saying with with the draft and everything being in October, they're going to have to start right back up at the end of October,
right?
And start playing and start doing all this stuff, training camps. You really probably take out the training camp part and just go ahead and just jump right into the season.
But they have a schedule that they've already kind of done. But I'm with you on that. Dave, you got a last point before we move on to the move on to the next subject, sir?
Man, my point is the same point you've been making for weeks now. It's whatever we've known about college football or sports in general, just throw them out the window, man, because it's ever evolving.
It can be good and it can be bad, but hey, it keeps us, with a lot to talk about. So our second issue that we want to hit y'all with today, all this stuff happened today because this is how college football is rolling. Probably gonna roll like this all the way through. We gotta talk about the ACC announcing their plans for football and their fall Olympic sports. Mm-hmm. They're going to compete starting the week of September 7th through the 12th. Once they do that, also they're gonna add Notre Dame. Notre Dame was playing 5 or 6 games in the ACC every year.
Yeah,
6. Mm-hmm. And then they're gonna play a full 10-game schedule, and they're playing 10 conference games and 1 non-conference game, which is kind of what a lot of people were thinking that they was gonna do. And they messed around with a couple people's schedules. They moved some things. They moved some things around. They moved some things around. So, looking at it from my point of view, from what I saw, I'm not really surprised by anything they announced today. When everybody was making a big deal about Notre Dame, I'm like, they're already a conditional member of football. Like, you act like they ain't played no ACC games. I'm sitting there like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, they're
in the ACC full time and
everything else.
So they play 6 games in the ACC. They're ACC. The only reason why they're not ACC in football is because of NBC. That's the only reason why.
Yeah.
So I mean, people just need to let that go. Talking about y'all need to be in the. They are. They're in the ACC. Let it go.
Well, a part of that, or what I was reading today was that the big part about it, they're going to be able to compete for that championship. That's going to be So Dave, how do you feel about Notre Dame being able to compete for this championship? But let's just say we do have this and we have a playoff. But do you know that they were saying that if Notre Dame got to the playoff, they wouldn't necessarily represent the ACC, but use the ACC as a conference to get to the playoff? How do you feel about that, David?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of like Tuck. They played 6 games.
Oh, we lost Dave.
Did we lose Dave?
I can't say that. Well, y'all lost me for a second there, so I can't say that.
No, go ahead, Ben. You pick up where Dave left off at, because I know you have some strong feelings about the subject.
My opinion more so is not about necessarily Notre Dame, because like you said, they already play in the ACC, and this is just the ACC doing them a solid, going ahead and conditionally helping them out as the year goes on. Mm-hmm. I think the main point that maybe some people are upset about is the fact that they're going to get to play for the ACC title. Like I've heard people pretty much say, right now the ACC is a 2-team race. It's Clemson and Notre Dame. They've already, since there's no divisions anymore at this particular year.
Which is big.
There's no division this particular year, so it's going off winning percentage 9 times out of 10 for all intents and purposes. Unless somebody just comes up and surprises and shocks the world, it's probably going to be Clemson and Notre Dame playing for the ACC title. Now, if you're a Clemson fan, I don't know how you feel about it because, hey, you pretty much had easy street. You knew whoever came from the Coastal, you was going to blast them. Same with Florida State when we was rolling. If you look at who's won the ACC, you know what I'm saying? It's either been Florida State or Clemson over the last damn near decade. But now, if you're going to have to end up playing Notre Dame twice, because they already had Notre Dame on the schedule anyway before this mix-up. They was already on the schedule anyway. Right. So now you're looking at the possibility of having to play Notre Dame twice. If you're a Clemson, they're probably the biggest loser in all of it. Even though I'm mad about how they shuffled our schedule around, but Clemson probably is the biggest loser in this because you're probably going to have to end up playing Notre Dame twice.
I will say this before I'm gonna throw it back to Dave so he can finish his point. I'm gonna say this about that. Everybody keep talking about Notre Dame, and I look at it like the same way that people talk about the gauntlet of the SEC. Like, people always talking about how Clemson, quote unquote, has an easy road and this and that and this. And same to me, Notre Dame, when you playing 3 games against the service academies, and when you playing this, you playing that, guess what, bro? The ACC is a better conference. Everybody's going to bring it every single week. Now, they might not win the game, but hey, sometimes it ain't about winning the game. It's about, you know what I'm saying?
That wear and tear.
That wear and tear. And that's what happens to them. So it's not like, well, we know we got Clemson, or we know we got this game, and we got to really, really get up for it. We're going to be favored to beat a Wake Forest or to beat whoever, you know what I'm saying, they might play. I'm not saying anything against those teams. I'm just saying that when that's your 10-week grind, that's something else. So Dave, what was your point that you were trying to figure out before we lost you for a second?
Really, my only point I was going to make, I kind of think it's kind of weird that they'll let them represent in the quote unquote playoffs and not, but kind of use the ACC as a springboard. But here's the thing, I really don't really care. To be honest, I mean, because I've always said my platform was that I've always, they say they want to find the 4 best teams. My platform has always been, hey, give me 5 conference winners, 1 bye week, and let's play it out anyway. So, to me, I really don't care. I don't think they've gotten it right, and they got it right sometimes, but sometimes they didn't. So it doesn't really bother me. Just let's play football, damn it. And if we finish the season great, if not,
yes.
So I think I'm with you on that. And Tuck, before I throw it to you, that point right there, I just don't see Notre Dame coming out that ACC. I know the ACC has not been respected the way it should be, but you got some really teams that are really, really improved, and you're gonna have a better Florida State team. You're gonna have Georgia Tech in their second year. You're gonna have North Carolina. You're gonna have all these different. Even though, they played North Carolina apparently week 2. So it's like, I'm not seeing them just coming out there like unscathed. You know what I'm saying? Think about Clemson, anybody else, they know who they playing. So Tuck, what's your feeling about it, sir?
No, I'm it's kind of like a mixture between Dave and Ben.
Right.
The thing is, I really think that it's a good move. That they're finally is being, like I said, in a legitimate kind of quote unquote conference. But however, I really don't think. I mean, and I'm Dave and Ben are gonna say I'm a ACC hater. Those service academies play their ass off. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I'm just I'm not scared of North Carolina State. I'm not scared of Virginia Tech. I'm not scared of Pitt. Notre Dame shouldn't be scared of those teams. That's why I was like, it's gonna be a grind. Don't get me wrong, it's gonna be a grind, but it's a grind. It's a grind every week for Notre Dame, because speaking from personal experience, and my connections, the toughest teams that Notre Dame play ain't USC. It's not Tennessee, whatever teams they play every year. It's those service academies give their all, and their own team, and they're trying to beat Notre Dame because Notre Dame is Notre Dame. So, but on the flip side, I really don't see Notre Dame competing for the ACC. I really don't see it happening. Quote me right now at the end of the season. Like I said, Florida State. I think it's gonna be tough for them to beat Florida State. I think we got to go there. It depends on when we play them. It depends on how cold. It also depends on how high they grow their grass. And when they grow their grass at the end of the year,
if we play them in November,
I mean, it just depends on to me, that depends on how the season is going for Florida State.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If they're already turned it in, with Mike, I really don't see them.
We ain't gonna pack it in with him.
Right. I really think they'll play, up to their standards. I think Mike is trying to breathe energy into that program. So I think it will be fine with Mike. It's not going to be, unfortunately, nothing like what Willie T had. Willie T tried to do that. He tried to change the culture, but that's another show. But I think it depends on what happens with during the season, how that game will play out.
Right.
I mean, Notre Dame's not going to beat Clemson. Notre Dame is not going to beat Let's see, North Carolina. They're not gonna. It's just teams that out there right now. I just don't see it happening. I really don't. Matt Brown got these boys playing some real good football Notre Dame. Look, I was kind of nervous about Auburn, North Carolina. I wasn't too worried.
Yeah, I didn't want them. Yeah, they threw them on the.
Okay, so then since we're talking like I said, right now, I just don't see Notre Dame being a big factor. Now, it just depends on how their season starts off.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. To your point, but they set it up nice for them because they got Duke, Syracuse,
right,
Boston College, Wake.
They play Boston College every
Georgia
year.
Tech. You see what I'm saying? So, and they didn't get Miami. Yeah, they got us, and they already had Clemson anyway.
Yeah,
they threw us on there. So really, if you look at the schedule, depending on how we go, Clemson and North Carolina, in true, is they toughest game.
I'm not gonna say that, but I'm gonna let you finish your point. Go ahead. I'm definitely not gonna say that.
You believe in Louisville?
I believe there's other teams on there that are up and coming that is gonna have a hell of a lot more to say than what we just sit here looking back at it. Because really, we haven't even dove into what these teams are bringing back and what they're doing. But let's let Dave finish up on this point. Go ahead, sir.
I guess my big thing though, when I read it today, they didn't mention the two teams with the highest winning percentage.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why I get Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's top two teams based off conference game winning percentage.
Winning percentage.
Yeah, so I doing that when you put in all the head-to-heads that have to go on, I give them a shot. And to be honest with you, it would damn sure be a better championship game than what we've had in the past.
Now that's true. If they do make it to play Clemson, that will definitely be a better championship game than we've had in the ACC in a while.
And you know what?
Well,
yeah, I mean,
it should be. It should be.
We keep saying we keep saying Clemson, but you know what? North Carolina don't have Clemson on their schedule.
No, they don't.
So they don't. Like that we have a lot of dynamics that we got to go through conference by conference. Once we got a final thing with these conferences, we got a lot of dynamics and a lot of previews and a lot of things that we need to go through with each one of them. Mm-hmm. But I think what we can agree on is that if we do have a season, if we do have anything like that, it's going to be very exciting just to see this format and just to add to it.
For sure.
So this is going to be, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up because we don't want to continue to go on. We said it's going to be DSF shorts and we would just want to hit these two topics. So
we can dig into that schedule, but we're not. That's why I told you we're not doing that. We ain't going to do that.
The only thing I was going to add is
go ahead, Tuck.
The only thing I was going to add at the end was that the ACC really pushed the SEC to do something.
To do exactly what they did.
Yep.
Now, I will say this. I believe because they've always said that the ACC and the SEC, since this whole thing has started, they've been in cahoots together.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, I'm really interested to see what they're going to come back with tomorrow. Is the SEC going to do a 10-game schedule? Or are they going to stick with a 9-game schedule? I mean, because ACC's doing +1.
Because right now I just like some breaking news, not breaking news, but somebody showed what the SEC had, and Auburn would, for example, Auburn would add South Carolina and Missouri to the schedule.
I'll take it.
LSU would add Kentucky and Tennessee, and Alabama will add Vanderbilt and Florida.
Of course, they get to add Vanderbilt.
But they got Georgia.
But they got Florida. But they got Florida
and Georgia. I can't hate on that.
So that's what I'm saying.
This year is a good thing because they already have Georgia.
And Georgia anyway. Yep.
Right. So that's not confirmed, but that's a little what some of the words right now is
right. When it started leaking out, I mean, that's what they've been talking about, a 9-10 game season. So 10-game conference. So I mean, we'll be right back here tomorrow probably talking about the SEC. Dave, you got anything before we wrap up, sir? Mr. Gardner, I get.
I have Wi-Fi trouble over here, which we're gonna have. I'll be on a call here in a few seconds to straighten this out for next week. But I didn't hear what you threw to me. I heard nothing. It was blanked out. I couldn't hear a thing.
Oh, all I just asked, did you have anything else before we close out on the first DSF short, Down South Football short?
No, man. Nothing really. Just I enjoyed the short show. I think we need to put more of these out there, and we just see if we get some,
Oh, we
some
definitely
feedback
will.
from our
Definitely
audience.
so.
See how they enjoy it.
All right, if that's it, man, please tell your friends, subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. We will send all this out on our social media. We will promote it for Tuck, for DJ Double Dose, aka Ben Dennis, for Dave Gardner. This your boy Renard Williams, and we out, man. We'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.